Good morning, everybody. Let me check the chat here. Hope everybody's doing good. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're at. Good morning, Mike, Tariq, Will, Daniel, Christy, Marco, Samuel, John, Harris, good morning, Sal, Cloud, Vigo, Crazy Eddie. A lot of you guys in here. Good morning, everybody. What's up, Oki? Hassan. I love how the over the time the chat has grown like a community. It's pretty cool to see. Tom, good morning. Jordy, what's up? Would you say dark? I gotta go back then. Good morning, Flatwood. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. If you can like the video, I'd appreciate it. We're at 59 likes. If we can get this to 100, I'd appreciate it. That way we can get started with the video. Okay, dark. That's interesting. Well, what I would like to say to that is I'm probably shadow banned. I've said this before. I don't show up on people's feeds on Twitter. I don't show up on YouTube. I believe that's for a particular reason. I've talked about some things that shouldn't be talked about, and the YouTube algorithm probably doesn't suggest me to certain people. That's the way I see it. I told you I'm not kidding when I said that. Like, I've talked about some things I shouldn't have talked about. JUX, I keep seeing your posting a message. You can't do it with caps. Yeah, Cloud. Yeah, I'm telling you. Oh, that's interesting, Mantis. Yeah, I don't know on Twitter so much. I don't know. Again, I'm not on that side, so I can't really see how much I show up. I appreciate it, Jordy. All right, we're at 100 likes, so I will start. I'm not in a rush. Again, I think I say that every time, but I'm not a huge fan of today. Marco, yeah, most definitely. I'd love to. Maybe at the end of today if I have free time. Just remind me. Roberta, really, man? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the only thing I can say is to put your notifications on. I mean, that's the only solution I can think of. But if it doesn't notify you, then I don't know. Like I said, it's I think if you only manually search me, that's probably the only way. You guys can see the screen, right? Just want to make sure. Yes? Okay, thank you. That's what I was waiting for. Alright, so what did we talk about? I know there's 3 minutes till the open, so just, if you're eager to do something, be calm. I'm going to go over from my top down, basically what I was stating last night as well. But what have I been drawing your attention towards the entire week was the weekly inefficiency, because if I was to look at anything, the beginning of the week was at least the draw was here. That's the only thing I could see. And then after yesterday with the closure we had, I believe NVDA reports come out at the end of yesterday, and that shot price up, which is fine. I was perfectly okay with it because I was able to see a clear direction as far as what we wanted to do. So you have to remember, the reason I'm bringing that up, that's the parent inefficiency, right? That's the parent PD array. And when I drop down into a daily, we have the volume imbalance down here. And I've been drawing your attention towards this idea all week, is from this dealing range low up to that high, we're still in a bullish dealing range. So even though there was some shorts in here and some short opportunities, I've never taken away the idea that this was not in a bullish dealing range. And the reason I'm stating that is because you have to keep that in the back of your mind, because something like this can happen and price starts tearing off higher. And I was keying off the idea that this was simply an internal sell-side liquidity raid. From this dealing range low to that high, we drop down into a discount, into the volume bounce, into the bullish order block. We take out internal sell-side liquidity, and then we displace higher. So what is the narrative today? At least what for the rest of the week, what would I be looking at? What should you be looking at? Well, you should be looking at higher prices. You should be looking to get into a long position, preferably, right? That's the best, highest probability thing you could possibly do for yourself. So what's above us? Well, we have buy side here. Those are our two close in proximity buy side liquidity pools, right? You drop down into a 4-hour. I drew your attention towards this small inefficiency here, right? That from this low, or from that high to that low, that last little portion, we drop down into it, look at the bodies, and then we cascaded higher. With the, I just saw the open on a different monitor. With the amount of volatility that we're having, or at least how fast price is moving, the speed, it may want to get up into these highs today, just looking at it. I'll have to see. I don't love how there's been very little retracements and we've just expanded higher, but I can't pick and choose. I'm going to have to see what we look like by the time we get to the silver bullet. Again, I'm in no rush. Regardless of what price is doing, my old self, I understand, would be fearing that I'm missing something, right? Price is moving. It's moving a lot. Yesterday it moved a lot on the close. Today, the open. Again, you have to think about retail mindset. Yes, we're all retail, but in terms of what they're thinking, a lot of them are chasing this. A lot of them are fearful that this is going to run without them. I'm not, because I understand that probably we're going to have some type of retracement, some run on stops at one point or the other. So I'm not fearing missing a move. What are we currently inside of? This inefficiency here. So this SIBI here doesn't mean I'm looking for a sell. It just means that price could either be at a traffic light, meaning that price is going to pause for a second, have some type of short-term retracement off of it. Could mean nothing. Again, I just mark up these areas of inefficiencies to look at, to see what price is doing. You can see we're having some small retracement off of it. The only thing I'm really anticipating is if we get a small retracement off of it, probably going to break above it to create an inversion. I don't necessarily need this one down here. I mean, I could if we dropped all the way down into this area down here. Hopefully, Rome, that answers your question. I don't see this as an area to sell. Just because from this dealing range high to this low, we're inside of a premium. What's the narrative? What's the narrative on the daily, the weekly, the monthly? Those are the parent, right? Those are the parent time frames. If those are the parent and those are bullish, then it's going to overseed a bearish inefficiency, right? It's going to overseed that. So when you're looking at order flow, if the parent is bullish and we stop at some child PD array, really it's just a speed bump, a traffic stop. You're going to stop there, have some short-term retracement, and then price will move through it, right? That's the way I look at it. When you go down to lower time frames in here, again, everything from the left side of the curve, you're going to extend out to the right. So any areas of inefficiencies, this 1 hour, you're going to extend that out to your right. So if we closed above it, what does it become? It becomes an inversion. So I'm going to extend that to my right and see how price utilizes it. Not that I'm buying there, I'm just utilizing it as an area of support or just something I'm looking at, right? So buy side above us there. I mean, truthfully, I don't like buying at extreme premiums. I mean, this is not a day where I'm very excited about, because price has moved a lot coming into the day and even overnight. It's moved a lot higher with very little retracements. I'm not really a fan of trying to short this, so if I have to sit still and do nothing, then that's it. Morning, Roosta. If you guys are just tuning in, I'd appreciate it if you could like the video. So hopefully it makes sense to everybody. There's nothing else in here that I'm going to work with. Do I see price retracing down to these lower inefficiencies? Not particularly, no. Why? Because I would anticipate them to be breakaway gaps. Why? Because if you look at the delivery of price and how quickly we've delivered, that really shows either we're in a hurry to get somewhere. So I'm trying to anticipate that this more than likely are breakaway gaps. We're probably going to leave that open. Doesn't mean we are, but in my experience, if price is moving in a fast delivery and wants to get somewhere quickly, it's not going to have deep retracements. It's going to have very shallow retracements, very little run on sell stops, and it's going to keep expanding. I don't know why this didn't. All right, so I mean that's basically it for the higher time frame analysis. I just wanted to guide all of you as terms of what is going on. So hopefully it answers some questions. New week opening gap, new day opening gap, old new week opening gap, old new week opening gap up there. So like on a 15-minute time frame, look to the left of you. See this SIBI? Then you're going to extend that to your right. And you're going to make that an inversion. Why? Because we've gotten above it. So you're going to extend that to your right. Anything above you, you're going to annotate. So there's a premium inefficiency up here. You want to extend that to your right. You can use that as a draw on liquidity if we do expand higher. And then obviously the buy side way up here. I don't know if we're going to reach into that today. So the 15-minute time frame, there's this inefficiency right there. So extend that out to your right. It's basically residing right on top of the inversion. You can refine the 15-minute inversion if you'd like. I'm going to keep probably the 15-minute on the 5. Yeah, I'm going to have to see. Truthfully, I don't really like today already. I'm not a huge fan of this. The reason being is, again, if prices expanded a lot and it's inside of a premium, I mean, it can either go into side consolidation or it can just keep expanding with no really run on sell stops, which is not my particular style. Yeah, again, Nico, that's a great point. If AM session overnight or the previous days moved a lot, what's the profile typically for the day? Consolidation, choppy market. I know yesterday we were inside of consolidation. It was real chop. It was difficult. Sometimes it's back to back, and I mean, again, you can't force anything. If that's the profile, if that's what price is telling me, if that's what my rules, have told me, then I have to sit still. I can't push price. I can't do anything. So we'll see what today brings by silver bullet. If I don't do anything today, then that's the only option. I can't push price. I mean, it is what it is. Got a good trade on Tuesday. Yesterday took a small little loss. So if today doesn't provide anything, possibly tomorrow. But if anything, if you have to end the week off on just a decent win, then it is, that's fine. Let me look at the chat here. I gotta turn off this music. This music is trash. We also had a news event driver at 8:30, and that did not do much. So that kind of tells me something as well. Like if you have a major news event driver and it didn't do much, it's not the best sign in the world. I mean, if we do move higher, that 15-minute premium inefficiency there would be probably the draw. I don't know how high we're going to go. Buy side here. I haven't taken a close look at dollar index today. I think as far as what I was looking at, it was moving higher. As far as the RTH gap, it's going to be massive. Yeah, so in this instance, how would I utilize the RTH gap? Well, I'd probably only be looking for a small percentage of it if it was to carry off higher today. I'd only look for a small percentage of it to be filled in, if anything. So if you're looking at RTH and you're trying to utilize it, then you have to look at like the 10, the 25, maybe 50% levels of a very large RTH gap, right? This is the entire range. It's massive because yesterday we closed here and then opened there. So again, that's a huge overnight session move. So I don't find, going into today, it's moved a lot already. A price can only move so much within a day. Within one daily candlestick, it can only move so much. So I know moving into the day in New York, if overnight's moved a lot, London session, I don't know how much is left on the day. So I have to be careful of that and not try to push beyond the bounds of what price can really do. I mean, it can only do so much within a day. Again, this is the RTH gap. If I was to look at it, the way I would utilize it in today is if I'm expecting higher prices on today, and if it was to continue higher, then I would only be looking at maybe the 25% to be filled in. So you can take your fib, that's equilibrium there, to the top of it. I mean, 50% is a little, I think that's even overzealous, to be honest with you. I mean, you could even split it in half again, and you could look at the 50% here would be 25, right? So you have to look at it as if it's like an IOFED of a RTH gap, if anything. So hopefully that makes sense. I know for those who are newer, I mean the RTH gap is a little bit much, but it is something I utilize. I mean, I'm not even going to go down to a 1 minute. I mean, I could. But this is where, like, if you're not paying attention to, like, the range you're in, the higher time frames, I talked about this even yesterday. Like, if I was just to zoom in here and I just looked at a 1 minute, like, it's so easy to get focused on this little picture when there's a lot bigger picture happening, right? You have to zoom out. You have to force yourself to do that. Otherwise, you just get stuck. And then you're wondering why you're taking losses because you're on a 1 minute super zoomed in. All my entries are on 1 minute. Obviously, you guys know I love the 1 minute. But I do tell you in practice, zooming out, paying attention to higher time frames, creating that narrative. Two red news event drivers in 3 minutes. Oh, great. I'll be honest with you, I didn't know that. I haven't even checked today. I thought it was at 8:30. It's fine. Cool. Get some volatility here. Again, I mean, sometimes I'm just not paying attention to certain things, and my rules would protect me anyways. Dollar index, that's pretty decoupled away from NQ. It's been the theme of this whole year. I wanted to see dollar index when I looked at it last night. I wanted to see it drop lower into the relative equal lows today, especially if this was to tear off higher, because in terms of intermarket relationships, that would make sense. But we're not getting that currently. CJ to 1K. I think yesterday that was my, not my one and only shot to do it, but it was definitely one of the shots to do it, and we didn't get it. That's because Tanya was not live streaming. So I'm sure some of her audience came over here. So if this thing is really, really bullish today, like there's just zero retracements, we just continue to expand, then you just have to look for a continuation pattern, which is just a fair value gap that you're looking to IOFED. I mean, that's really it. There's nothing else to it. I'm not a huge fan of this. To be honest, I don't do well in very fast-paced trending markets where price just continues to drift off higher or lower. I like to have retracements. I like to have a run on opposite liquidity. It just makes me a little bit more confident in the overall idea. Like this instance, we've had zero run on stops, and it's just continuously rallied. But if I'm in an understanding, right, what would make me confident to go long in here? Well, price is in a big hurry to get somewhere. Obviously, right? It's in a hurry to get somewhere. Everything else lines up for price to be bullish. In the narrative, higher time frames, breakaway gaps I'm anticipating. I'm not anticipating any retracements from here, really. We've already gotten that. Like that's probably the only retracement we're going to get, at least probably into this buy side. So I have to look for something that would engage me into the market. So premium for value gap here, buy side up there. That's probably going to be the overall draw for me. And the reason I don't love buying like this is because obviously price could just retrace. It could have a run on stops and I get caught, just trying to long it. But I'll have to see. We're still not in the silver bullet yet. Not even within the macro, so have to sit our hands. Yeah, there's bullish SMT. I mean, there is. ES just climbed above its high, so. What's up, Accidental? Vincent, Natalia. Robbie, what's up? Andreas, what's up? Oh, there you are, Jack. Noon? Very well could be. I get a lot of questions over TGIF. I mean, I personally, I can't predict that. I don't know. I mean, it's a good profile, but you've seen like the last 2 weeks, it hasn't had any significance. Some days you just expand to close the week out. It's a decent profile, but if things are not aligned, then TGIF is not going to work. Yeah, Andres, but I mean, you have to understand that. Think about how much we've moved today. I mean, that's a pretty overzealous. I mean, I'm not saying that it won't do it, but I mean, today you just have to focus on low-hanging fruit. Where is price at currently to where price could possibly get into with logic? At least, I would say even being less zealous is half of this wick in here, the C. So 17,993 approximately, and then 1827. Price can only move so much within a day. It has boundaries to it. It's not going to just shoot off 1 million handles. I'm sure you're just anticipating for the next few days, but if you reach into this, I mean, I would have to see how far price really wants to reach today, but I don't think we're going to just blow past that. Check what a 5 minutes doing. Yeah, to be honest, I have the 30-second chart up. It's a nice IOFED on a 30-second right there. Again, it's not within my rules, so I can't participate in it, but for studying purposes, I would do that. I mean, at this point in time, I fully believe that 1826 is going to be tagged. Accidental, I think with logic, yeah. I don't think that. I mean, I've adjusted over the years. I would definitely feel myself feeling a lot of, like, I would feel guilty trying to long this, but I don't feel guilty trying to do this. I'd feel like I'd be FOMOing into a position, but logically, price is in a big hurry to get somewhere. And that's me logically looking at price objectively, not just fear. I'm logically looking at it. And I can see that it's leaving breakaway gaps. It's in a big hurry to get somewhere. So if I know that, then as long as there's a continuation pattern like an IOFED, just simply a fair value gap, it digs into it, I'm okay with taking a long. I don't fear those type of things when we're in a really bullish market. Vice versa, bearish. But you have to understand, like, is it really trying to get somewhere? And I'll see how we look by the silver bullet. I mean, who knows? It could have some major retracement and I'm wrong. Tal, you in here or no? Okay. I was wondering if you saw that message or not. I mean, at this point, I'm looking at a 5-minute, 15-minute. I wouldn't particularly want to be longing in that. Nor is the time right for me just yet. So. Yeah, Tom. I would, I don't know. I don't know what you did yesterday, but just extend it or whatever. Again, I'm not trying to hide from haters or people giving criticism. It's annoying. I don't need you to be in here talking a bunch of nonsense. Stupid. It's distracting. It doesn't help anybody. So sell side's in here. That's pretty interesting. What made me kind of change away from that idea that price would, again, you can see me, I just kind of switched like what I was thinking. Just the reaction off of that. Off of this premium Cibi and the retracement we've had, it would make me weary to obviously try to long that. So we have some sell side in here. I may want to drop down into that to clean it up. So we've dropped kind of underneath that. That would become an inversion, right? I was saying I'm going to short off of that. Whoever told me about that interval thing, thank you. Somebody told me yesterday about it. It's a pretty wild price action the first 30 minutes so far. I mean, even overnight. Cibi inversion. I'm more or less just tape reading. I mean, again, I'm still not in the silver bullet yet. You have to remind yourself sometimes, again, if you're not paying attention at time, it's like there's so much that's happening, you get lost. Dow is really tearing off higher. ES has had a small retracement along with NQ. Yeah, Nico, I mean, if you're newer, I would suggest trading ES. This NQ is extremely wild. I mean, takes a lot of patience and a lot of fine print to figure out your entries in NQ. She's wild. Again, I'm not shorts wouldn't really intrigue me. I mean, I could see why it would do that, but what's the narrative? The narrative is bullish. I'm not trying to short in an overall bullish market. I could see, yes, we could have a short-term retracement. We just took out buy stops, ran into a premium Cibi, sell side beneath us. It could very well drop off into the sell side. I'm electing not to do that. Because if you're in a bullish market, it could very well just continue higher and leave the sell side. And then you get your ass handed to you on the other side where you're trying to short and it just handed you your ass. So to me, I'm just going to sit still. If you guys are just tuning in, I'd appreciate it if you could like the video. We're only at 220 likes, so if we can get that up to like 300-400, that'd be great. No, I only trade NQ. I mean, I do trade ES from time to time, depending if there's a six sister approach that I can utilize. Then yes. About 2 minutes into this till the silver bullet. You can see the chat is not as chatty today. Like when it's slow, people are talking, but when things are moving, everybody's so focused. It's funny. Especially when there's a lot of different opinions on the day, the chat gets super toxic. Saw that last week. Oh, it's up. No, it's down. No, it's up. Trying to hear you and Tanya at the same time. I don't know if I'd be trying to do that. That's a little much. We full port in shorts. Again, some people could really see shorts in here. Some people could see longs. I mean, I'm electing not to take the short because the narrative is bullish. If it traded off lower into the sell side, I wouldn't care. I'm electing to kind of draw the line in the sand and say, all right, I'm going to stand on this side and say I'm only going to look for higher prices because the narrative suggests to me that price should continue higher. Not that it will, but I feel more comfortable doing that. Exactly, Brett. I don't care if she's in a trade or not. Tanya's great, man. She's got more balls and more courage than 90% of the industry, so I can't give any really hate to her. Yeah, this is the reason why, I mean, I can't say, but this is to me why I wouldn't want to be trading in a short setup. I would be very concerned right now. If I was in a short setup, I would be, to me personally, I would be concerned. That's the reason why I didn't want to take it, because we're overall bullish. So trying to be in a short setup in a very bullish market is very concerning to me. It makes me very weary. Would make me want to go long in here. If we get above these SIBIs, print some bullish fair value gap in here, that's good. I have to be careful. I'm watching. Just opened up. But we get above those, treat them as inversion, print some bullish fair value gap. That would make me semi-comfortable. So look at these two SIBIs, extend them to your right. Again, if you're in a bullish market, every single opposing PD rate will preferably get ran through. So I'm anticipating this to become an inversion. Same with that lower one. Well, it already is. And the reason I'm waiting for that is because it could sell off of this, but I'm electing not to go short. I'm electing not to have that opinion on it. So I'd want to see it get above it, treat it as support, print a bullish PD rate in order for me to continue going higher. And if it does, then if it sells off of this, then at least I protect myself with that idea. There's a lot of opinions in here today. I'm just saying when I'm looking at the market, what this would be suggesting to me, public sentiment. There's a lot of probably opinions back and forth what price should be doing. So to me, it'd be like sitting still. Again, here's me being quotation wrong, but as long as you don't take a trade, you have certain rules that protect you from taking losses. Being wrong or right is it's really not, doesn't hold that much significance. I'm trying to look at your question here, Curry. 945. Well, this is a value gap. If you're talking about this, I mean, if we got up above it, that would be a mitigation block. That'd be different. Yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with just sitting in my hands. There's a lot of things going on in here. Well, it's kind of like the best rule that you can do is obviously sitting in your hands, but when you're in a very premium market, it's pushing very, very high. I'm not trying to predict a top. I'm not really trying to do that. It's not the idea I'm trying to get at. It would make me very weary to get into a short. I would be very concerned to do so. I mean, if it sells off, I mean, it is what it is. Curry, I mean, if you looked at a really fractal price, like I'm looking at a 15-second chart right now on my other monitor, yeah. But I don't think it holds that much significance. It could. So Sibby right there. If this thing was to go lower, it would have to react off of this and drop lower. And I particularly don't care. I'm going to take a few things away. Yeah, Kimberly, I don't think this week was extremely easy so far. I mean, I think Tuesday was a beautiful trade. I think overall Tuesday was really nice, to be honest with you. If you're able to sit out yesterday, I mean, you're probably doing pretty well so far. Some weeks are like that, where you only have one day out of the week where it was really well, and if you had the discipline to sit still and not do anything, the rest of the other days, then you're protecting your capital. The number one thing that you're doing as an analyst is you're protecting your capital. You're a risk manager. That's your number one priority. That's your only power. That's literally your only power. How much risk you can control in the market and how frequent you engage with it. That's the only power you have. So if you know that, it's a very good power because obviously you control the risk and you control the frequency. If you're able to dial that back to very low percentage of risk and frequency, then you're probably doing all right. So this is the reason why I wouldn't want to be shorting in this market. If I'm overall bullish, the narrative is bullish. The narrative is the parent idea. So I can't be willing to go short in here. It's gonna hammy my ass. And that's why I preach narrative, because you can look at a 1 minute time frame, you can see the SIBIs, you can see a bearish breaker, but if the narrative is bullish, if the parent is the daily time frame, weekly bullish, it's going to run over it. I mean, accidental. I don't know that. I mean, prior, like, to be honest, I don't know that. It's just if I show up and the conditions look ripe, then I'm going to obviously interact with the market. Every day is unique. I mean, there's certain, like you just stated there, FOMC the day ahead, coming off a holiday. There are some profiles where typically after holiday trading, sometimes it's lower probability. But then again, every day is unique. So I have to look at the set of probabilities and the characteristics that surround that day and what's happening and be like, all right, is this in my favor or is it not? And I just looked at Tuesday and I could see, all right, well, my setup printed. and I take it. I love to hear that, Rista. I mean, that's the main emphasis of what I teach, is being content with not doing anything if something's not on your side, being in line with narrative, patience, discipline. All these things are important. I mean, you could have seen me in here take multiple losses, trying to long, trying to short, but I'm just sitting still. I'm doing nothing until something proves to me that it really wants to either gravitate higher, or, and if it moved off lower, I wouldn't even participate. I mean, think about all the trades that would save you money if you just elected to say, all right, I'm only on one side today. I'm not doing anything else. I'm just going to sit still and just elect to trade one side. It saves you a lot of money, a lot of mental capital. I mean, I'm sure there's people in the chat right now that try to go short. I'm not trying to, obviously criticize you, but to me, that it's an easy way to save money. That's an easy way to stay out of the market, what I've been teaching. Many people would have seen this as a 2022 model. Take buy side, drop lower, shift to market structure, bearish fair value gap, sell side. But narrative oversees everything. But Twitter's not going to teach you that. They're going to teach you that you can trade anything at any time on a 5-second chart, which is horseshit. These people are not profitable. Would I see this as a bearish order block? No. I think that's a question somebody would probably have. The reason for that is narrative. If it is truly bullish, it should run through that. I mean, it could sell off of it as I just speak of it. But would I really particularly care? No, because it's not in line with what I'm thinking. Nor is that an entry pattern for me. I don't sell off of order blocks or buy. So I'm electing to sit on one side, and if I'm wrong on that idea, then it's fine. I know I sound like a broken record for those who have been here, but it is important to keep hearing the same boring, nonchalant sayings over and over again, because it just embeds it into your head. I mean, trading is boring. It's very repetitive. The rules, the discipline, the things that you do are repetitive. And if it annoys you, I guess, I don't know why. So we drop down into this inversion. This would be a bullish order block. So buy side is here, and then the buy side liquidity pool up there. I'm just being careful. It's just, this is really fickle, man. I'm not. 1 second's going up, then it whips back. So I want a clear directional. Very good, Curry. Yeah, I think if you're going to stay in this long term, I don't have a passion for, obviously we all want to get money, but I love this. I love technicals. I love being at the charts. It fascinates me. It intrigues me. I just love it. I'm sure many of you do as well, which, I mean, you definitely want to do something that you do enjoy and you do love doing. I mean, every day I'm on here, I don't ever think about, this being like work. Like it never crosses my mind that, like, damn, I gotta get on the charts today. I'm like, no, this is a blessing. I can't wait to get on the charts. I can't wait to be on here. There's some days, yes, when I was losing for months, on end, and I couldn't win. I was like, I don't even want to look at the charts because I'm probably gonna end up losing today. Again, the things that you see me do here, I mean, this is years of trial and error and so many losses, so much sadness and depression and anger, and I mean, I've had to overcome a lot of shit, and I'm not even close to where I really want to be at. I mean, I know what I can really do in some years here. I mean, I want to be doing what ICT's doing, some Olympic feats. So we're expanding here higher. I'm really just waiting for some type of... I'm going to shoot for what I usually do to demonstrate as the last 75% into the drawn liquidity. If I can get that, that would be preferred. I'm just trying to stay out of all of this kind of semi-uncertainty. Let me change this real quick. So if we print a fair value gap in here, I'd probably be willing to go long. Let me check like a 2 or 3. Yeah, this is nasty, man. It's not loose right now. Like if it was really loose, it would want to really sprint higher. And the main reason for that is we've moved a lot. There's been a lot of volatility, so it's not just going to immediately be like a spring and snap towards, you know, a certain direction. It's going to be very lethargic. I mean, if you were in either side, regardless long or short, I think this would be not a fun position to be inside of. It's not ideal, right? Yeah, exactly, Nico. I mean, again, it's fine. I mean, I agree with I agree with the idea. I just personally, there's nothing in here I would want to participate in just yet. Yeah, people are very pocket watchers. They want to watch everybody what they're doing and compare themselves and hope they lose secretly. So it's such a weird mentality. Nathan, that is a hilarious quote. Yeah, I mean, what would ICT be saying? What would he be doing? I know at times you can't predict that because he's probably, I don't know. He's probably long, short, long, short. I don't know. But what would his advice to me be right now is probably just to sit still. I mean, maybe not, but throughout the years, I feel like he'd just be like, just sit still until you can see something extremely clear. I mean, again, a gun to my head, I would be looking at buy side up here. But I don't have anything in here that would be telling me to go into the market just yet. So I kind of just have to sit on my hands until I can see something that'd be like, all right, get into the market. Let me see what Dow and ES are doing. Dow's drifted off a little bit lower. ES is still maintaining higher prices, which is probably good. Possibly accidental. I think it's a little bit of ways away. I think here would be where we start moving higher if we are. I should. Do you see what I'm doing here? I mean, I may not register to a lot of you, but what do I constantly do in here? I'm constantly flipping all the way back out to a daily, to a 4 hour, to a 1 hour. I'm constantly flipping. Why? Because I need to constantly remind myself, all right, where am I at? What is price doing? What price close like? What's the open look like on these candles? Where are we trading at? What are the inefficiencies we're inside of on the higher time frames? Like we're still inside of this in here. We could very well go through that. We discussed in the beginning. If that doesn't catch your eye, I mean, I think that's very important. it's very subtle, but I preach about it. Like I'll have a 1 minute of, I'm looking at the 1 minute, but I'm constantly flipping because I have to look at these time frames and be like, all right, what is it doing? Where am I at? Where is price trading, etc. BF, I appreciate that. Yeah, most definitely. I mean, there's times like yesterday where, you know, for the most part, I saw that I should stay out of the market, and then it Medusa me. I got into the market and took a small little loss. But I talked about yesterday in Twitter post. Those type of days, if you're able to get out of there with just a scratch, I mean, I mean, that could be a extreme train wreck, a huge major car crash of a day. And I only came out of it with just a small little paper cut. So that I'm thankful for. I mean, those type of days yesterday would hand me my ass on a silver platter and say, congratulations, you failed another account. And I'd be like, great. So in retrospect, it's, you know, a small loss is awesome. I'm happy about that. Again, I mean, would I want to be participating in either side in here? I'd be spending a lot of mental capital. It would be in a long. So the best option is if I saw it break higher, I could still see that we would want to move higher today, then it would be a little bit easier for me to be in a position. If I was in a long, I'd be like, man, I'd be trying to either reduce my risk, trail my stops a little bit tighter. It would just be a little bit more uncertain. I'm not saying it's a bad position if you're in it, but it's, for me, I don't know. Do I have a journal? Yes, I do. Yeah, Roost, isn't that the best? You look at the day, it's like, wow, we moved. I remember I blew it multiple accounts last year, not last year, but a few years ago with ES in just a small ass range, and I was like, what was I doing? How often do you use the new week opening gaps and new day opening gaps? I use them a lot. It just depends if they're if they're close in proximity to price, if they're in that profile for the day. I mean, sometimes you can't use new week opening gaps. I'm talking about yesterday. They're my most favorite PD array. I love them. But if I can't utilize them for the day, then obviously it's just, there's something I could do. Like if you look at, hopefully it appears. I don't know why it's not showing up here. Oh wow, it's far down. See again, I didn't even know. The new week opening gap is down here. Old new week opening gap down there. I mean, we're far away, so I can't utilize it today. There's an old new week opening gap up here. Even as small as that is, I mean, that can still be a draw on liquidity for me. They can just be like a magnet. Do I have a girlfriend? No, I do not. I don't. I mean, at times, yeah, would I want one? But I'm so focused on what I'm doing. I don't have any time for a girlfriend, man. I genuinely, over the years, I'm like, I'm grateful I never have had one. I've been so focused on this. I don't even know how I would have had time. I'd rather sacrifice all these years and be single. I don't really care. Once I get rich, then sure. Rich, you know, millions. And then find a wife, and that's it. Roxanne, yeah. I mean, again, you have to think about too. I mean, she's not as far as development as me either. I mean, I can't, comparing me to her, it's a weird game because I've been with these concepts for 4 or 5 years now. So I've been with them a long time. Like we may all know what fair value gaps are. We all may know what order blocks are, where liquidity is, but you don't have the chart time that I have. I've spent years with these PD rays. I've spent a lot of time studying them, how they react, what they're doing. So I mean, experience is huge. Again, I don't know why people keep bringing her up. I think she's great, man. She's there's no hate to be spread to her. What's up, Timmy? You're like a ghost sometimes. I don't know if you're in here or you're not. Jack was lying to me yesterday, I think. But now I see he's in here. Is AT&T down? I don't know. Not a sheep. Yeah, I mean I agree with that, but I also have a pretty good sense for that type of person. And again, that's such a funny like conversation. People that talk about girlfriends, like, why? I'm not even mad if a girl would be a gold. Not that she's a gold digger, but of course, a girl would want security and want to have a dude that has money. I mean, that's the same thing. Like, who's more shallow? Somebody, a gold digger, or some dude that only says she wants a girlfriend for looks? I mean, who's more shallow? They're both shallow people. I mean, I want a girlfriend who's hot. Like, the vice versa. She's like wants to do with money. I mean, we're both the same. That's such a funny conversation. I mean, yes, if she's only there for money, I mean, sure, but I mean, that's just I think that's just a criteria when you get into dating. It's like, yeah, you want somebody with security, finances, their shit in order. Thank you, Rista. I try to tell them all the time, but they're a bunch of knuckleheads. Not that they don't work, they do. But I do grind their ass sometimes. I'm blessed to have friends in real life that do this. Uh, activate subtitles in Spanish. I could see. I don't know YouTube that well. I could see. I could look into that. Let me see. REM, most definitely. I agree with that. Post your gym workout and diet. I wouldn't post my diet. Most definitely, I would like to post the gym workout. But as far as a diet, I wouldn't take advice from me. I think I just have a crazy metabolism and blessed with some good genetics. I've also been lifting for like 10 years. No, I don't take steroids, for those wondering. I was blessed to get into weightlifting through football in high school, and I mean, I started lifting when I was 14, 15. I've never stopped. Yeah, it's a lot of mental capital saved so far. Again, if I'm able to sit out of these conditions, and then when it's ripe and I'm able to get into like a low resistance, easy trade, that would be preferred, right? That'd be the easiest thing for me to do. Evelyn, that's awesome. Yeah, that's definitely goals. So we're coming into the half of the silver bullet. Sometimes this last, like, if you look at the silver bullet in general and you split it into these three things, this next half hour may, if it's been consolidating here, this may move. Just something to keep a watch as we move into that time. So there's a fair value gap right in here. that may send price higher. Am I willing to get into price in there? Probably not, because the price action we've been in. If I have to let that go, then it is what it is. But from here, to me, that would have to support price in order to go higher. Plus that down close candle. Jose, yeah, I believe that's how you pronounce your name. Mental capital is very precious. You have to keep it. You have to protect it with all your might, because, I mean, think about how much in my younger side. I mean, I could have went short in here, tried to go long, short. I mean, I'm just flipping back and forth. It's a lot of time and energy being spent. So why did I say that from here? Because we've had an energetic displacement away. I could just look at these other time frames and what price is looking like. Again, when I'm flipping these candlesticks, I'm seeing like what is price looking like, just the order of it, and it just looks, now it looked primed to kind of start moving. So if I can get in here and get a nice low resistance easy trade, that would be preferred, and all that time being, you know, spent waiting was worth it. So ideally, if we can form a fair value gap before taking the buy side, I mean, that would be ideal. But again, I don't have control over that, nor am I going to FOMO in the market. What did I talk about with this next half hour? That's probably going to leave this open. It's probably going to attack buy side before I can participate. Hmm. See if it wants to grab it. I'll be trying to put it underneath a few PDRAs. If I had to be honest, I think it's going to leave it open. So what am I doing here? I'm going out to like a 2 minutes. So you see there's a inefficiency here, which may end up tagging this, which would be good. I'd be happy about it. If I had to be honest, I mean, it's probably going to leave it open, as I've stated. So that is what it is. Just rules and discipline, man. What are you supposed to do? I'm not going to chase this. I'm not going to enter in at a higher price than I'm supposed to. Let's see, I got two 1 minutes on there. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes you get super focused, and sometimes I have 2 1 minutes open. I'm like, what am I doing? Went long at 32nd. I mean, sure. If I'm not looking at the chat or reading, obviously I'm pretty focused right now. I mean, yeah, ES is leading, so I mean that was a decent long on ES. I just wasn't looking at it. And even if we get above this high, it doesn't mean, I mean, that's not really my terminus for the day. I think we can still reach higher, so if there's something else, then I can get into the market, but just have to see. At this point, yeah, I mean, that's too far away in proximity. I'll leave it here for a second. Let me see on like a 2 or 3 minute. Yeah, I'm gonna delete the limit. There's no reason. It's gonna take the buy side out. So, I mean, what can you do? That's discipline. Discipline is a bitch sometimes. I mean, that was really the only entry point, unless you wanted to sit through all of this. But I didn't want to sit through all of that. I wanted to wait for a low resistance, easy trade. And sometimes you don't get your trade. So, it is what it is. I'm going to see what is left on the board today. We still have a good amount of time. I'll see if we just ran this high here. ES has built up a lot of sell side. Even in as far as NQ, we built up a lot of sell side in here. So why would I not, like, again, I was looking at this as a draw or a entry point. Why would I not now? Well, look at the reaction after taking buy side. It just doesn't seem favorable. So, I mean, there's a 5 minute inefficiencies in here. Nico, I see you have a question. I'll get back to it. I'm a bit focused. I'm trying to read in here. Does this thing really want to continue off higher today, or is this just taking out buy side and it's going to soup it? Share one gem never told in here until price. I mean, well, if that's like asking a magician to do a magic trick in front of you, or like a comedian to do a joke. It's just, I mean, if I have a gem I'm going to talk about, I'll probably just come in through passing. So this is not a breaker, but this is a mitigation block that you can extend to your right. So there is bearish SMT with Dow, but Dow's whatever. Jeez, this day's super bullish. You see me going through these time frames. I'm just looking at it and looking at candles, the closures. I'm looking, all right, is this really going to maintain higher? I would elect to believe so, but this 15-minute would be a huge tell. Maybe we closed above this high, then it'd be easy to say I'm going to go here. If we close lower, then it'd be hard for me to say. So, I mean, this inefficiency in here would have to hold if it was going higher. I just don't know if I would particularly want to long in that. If I'm unsure, again, you hear it in my voice. That doesn't mean that you're poor as an analyst. Even if something moves, you're like, man, I knew that. If I'm uncertain, it makes me weary. I don't want to participate. There's a lot of times when you probably get into a trade and you're like, man, like I knew I shouldn't have gotten into that. It's because you're just trying to force something. You're trying to force a entry upon yourself. It should be easy to get into a trade. It should be easy to enter into something with. There's not a lot of uncertainty. It's just, all right, this is easy. It's my entry pattern. But if I'm hesitant and there's a lot of uncertainty to me, then I just either elect to do nothing. It's probably the best option I can do. And if price moved in the direction I thought when I was hesitant, then it is what it is, man. I can't beat myself up over that. Like in here, I'm hesitant. I'm really, really hesitant because I could see like, all right, well, I could see we turtle soup the highs in here. We're inside of a premium for value gap. We've moved a lot higher today, overnight, everything. So do I really want to keep pushing that long idea? Do I really want to do that? There's a lot of sell side in here. There's sell side on ES. We have a bearish SMT. So it just, again, it's if I'm sitting there questioning myself, then it's probably not a good idea. Like, pay attention to your intuition. It's probably trying to tell you something. Over the years, if you built it up, it's probably correct. I mean, how many of you have been, questioning a trade before, and you're like, I don't know, it could not, I don't know, and you just press the button. You're like, fuck it, I'm just gonna see what happens. I've done that plenty of times. I mean, that's not a good option. You already knew going into it that you're questioning it. So most of my trades, if I know I'm on side, I don't even question it. It's like, that's right there. It's just boom, in my face. Like Tuesday, was that Tuesday? I'd never even questioned that trade. It's just, I predicted it right to where it was supposed to do. And it was bread, butter, easy. Like, those are the type of trades I want to be in. I don't want to be 50-50, wishy-washy. Is it not? I don't know. Like, what's the point of that? That's me gambling. Nico, you're teaching that we should trade the stronger pair on bullish days. Would that apply here? Do you prefer the six sister? I mean, yeah, you could definitely trade the stronger pair. Obviously, ES is the stronger of the two, but NQ is still going to be strong. Like, it's still going to move higher. So I preferably only trade NQ because that's what I like. I don't like the way ES moves. I don't like the characteristics of it. So I prefer to trade NQ. As far as SMT, if one of them is going to be, the strongest, I mean, you can elect to trade that one, but it doesn't mean the other ones aren't going to be relatively strong. Just maybe a little bit harder to get into that position, maybe a little bit harder. That'd be called low resistance, yeah. I mean, I see like a trendline phantom in here too. Like, look at all these relative sell side in here. Trendline phantom is just, what a quote-unquote retail style would be utilizing. So there's a lot of sell side in here. If I entered in the long here, I would have been probably getting ready to stop out. So I'm happy that my intuition was telling me, chill out. Don't push this. Even with 700 people watching me, I'm still listening to what 6 years of experience has taught me. It's just to sit still if I'm unsure. There's a lot of, I mean, in general, underneath all of those lows in here and then even in there. And even if this thing moved higher and I was, wrong about sitting out, then it's, I mean, what loss did that take? I didn't take anything. Nice inverse here. My chart, sometimes I can get a little cluttered. I was extending out these ones, but that one's pretty nice. Price react off of. I mean, would I have liked to be inside of all that chop? Not really, but I did deliver 48 handles. Planning on doing live tomorrow? Yep, I'm live every day. If you guys are new here, I appreciate if you subscribe, like the video. Welcome if you are new. I've been getting a lot of newer people in here, so it's good to see. I saw you ask this question earlier, honey. Sorry. Do you know how you can apply the 15-minute to confirm that your daily bias is, can't see it, is in line? Sorry, something's covering it. In line, I mean, yeah. But if that's, I don't want to say it's a vague question because it's, the 15-minute could be doing a lot of different things. You want to be paying attention to what the overall narrative is. I mean, I would say to just sit with me for a few lives. Just start to understand. I'm looking at a 15-minute as my guide, but it's not an end-all be-all. It can confirm a overall daily bias to you. But if this thing was to tear off lower in here, I'm going against the overall narrative, which is the higher time frames. But I'm comfortable kind of doing that currently because I can see we've built a lot of sell side. We're in an extremely high premium. We've been extending higher all day, even overnight. So I would elect to believe that this is probably price retracing back into its daily range. So even though it's countering the narrative, I'm still working within the narrative that, yeah, we're probably just retracing into the daily range, heading for the sell side. These are nice sell side liquidity pools in here. So it may not be significant, but I'm very well, there was a point where I was considering going long here, and I'm glad I didn't. I didn't take a loss I didn't need to because I listened to myself. So now here I'm looking at 17,891. I'm looking at 17,857 as the draw. I mean, we still have 15 minutes left in the session. A lot can unfold. Prefer it didn't take out that sell side before it turned into this fair value gap. I mean, was there any really short entries up here? Not necessarily, unless I turtle souped it, but small inversion in there that reacted off of it. Andreas, yeah, correct. I'll extend it out. I'd be willing to short off of that for value gap in here. Again, is this against the overall narrative? Yes, but what did we just talk about here? So I don't know why that didn't tag it. Should have tagged it. I'm in on my live account, so I don't know why it didn't tag the paper trading. I mean, that was right there. It's weird. So yes, I'm already in this position on my live account. If you don't know. I'm not gonna enter into here. I mean, I'll leave this just off. Just understand that I'm in a position. My stop loss is above the fair value gap here. I mean, I'm risking 16 handles. Potentially 60. We'll see. I'd take a partial off underneath the lows in here and then extend it out to there. Does that make sense, everybody? You're not lost, right? I know it didn't tag it on paper trading, but I want to see it dig into that sell side in here real quick. I want to see any type of sharp retracement. Yeah, I'm not looking at chat currently. I'm obviously focused. It can return back to that fair value gap. I just prefer it not to. Obviously, we built up more sell side in here, so if you're wondering, this is the position I have on. So especially when I'm in an entry, I'm flickering through a lot of time frames. I'm trying to get a read on all its candlesticks. What is it doing? What is it closing like? Where are we at? Like, I'm just looking through all of it, trying to gain as much information as I can. I'm trying to get the best possible read. So bearish order block in here. It may return, it may reclaim it. The way I'm looking at it, it may return back up into it, which is fine. We built up some sell side. Could I make an argument for this going higher? No. That's a live funded account. Jose, I mean, yeah, I show my entries every single day. Well, not every day, but I'm always transparent. That's it. I mean, most of the time I'm entering on paper trading and live accounts, so you guys can see both, but today I don't. It was literally tagged the limit on paper trading. I don't know why I didn't do it. Again, you have to realize I'm live streaming. I'm entering into two positions. I'm managing a live account and paper trading for you guys. It's a lot, man. It's a lot to deal with. So if I can only get my live account, I mean, that's what matters to me most. So if we dig into 17,890, I'm taking off at least out of my 5 micros. I'm going to take 2 or 3 off. That was me just deleting a limit. I would rather just manually click it. Yeah, even if you're just, you know, nice 20, 25 handle scalp from there, I mean, that's still a decent scalp. I'm just trying to get into the lows in here. I mean, into the sell side, it's about 30 handles or so. Into that, 60. This is my old self. Come on, NQ, just do it. Be yelling at my computer and shit. Like, who am I talking to? Yelling at myself. So the reason I'm not like fearful of this is we're building a lot of sell side in here. We're engineering this. If you look at just the 5-minute structure, it's not just gonna fucking, excuse my language. Sometimes just get in the moment. It's not just gonna drop off from here. It's like you have to visualize what it would look like. You may want to close in 9 seconds, then either there's going to be a fair value gap that forms. It may want to dig into that, then drop off. Who knows? Preferably no. Preferably I'd want to see the sell side taken. How did I conquer self-doubt? I mean, I think just through years and repetition, you're going to figure that out and get over doubt. When you have a secure model and a set of rules, something that's there for you, I mean, it's very easy to just overcome that. You have to understand why you're fearful of either losing money. It's not necessarily always money. It's either your competence. You know, if you're scared of not being as smart as you thought you were, not being as good as you thought you were. It's never really money. Of course, money is a huge factor. We all want to not lose money, but I'd like for it to deliver in the next 5 minutes here. So I want to see this 15-minute close extremely bearish. I don't want to see this pop up. But my stop loss in general is still above the 5-minute inefficiency. I mean, that's the last point of interest. I'm sure many of you are probably already out of the trade, but for me personally, I'm just going to keep the trade on. I'm risking 16 handles to make 60, potentially. So it's worth it. Yeah, again, I mean, if I was bullish, I wouldn't be trying to long this personally. I mean, that's my personal opinion. So we're inside of the macro. I forgot to mention as well the end of day or end of silver bullet macro. Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be doubt. Like, no matter what, you're going to suffer doubt. You're going to suffer fear of never making it. Like, it's normal. There's no guarantee you will make it. That should scare the shit out of you and should scare you and motivate you. You should use that fear as motivation rather than let it scare you away from, you know, wanting to be successful at this. Engineering, I mean, look at the lows in here. It's building up sell side. So there was sell side in here, and then we reached down into here, and we're engineering it, right? There's a lot of sell side. I wouldn't feel comfortable putting my stop loss right there, personally. With the concepts that we know, I wouldn't be comfortable doing that. I would need for it to take out sell side here in the next 5 minutes. I want to see this be left open personally. No, I'm using Quant Tower, not NinjaTrader. So this is a lot of fun. Yeah, it's not my preferred, obviously, style. I mean, I can't pick and choose how long price is going to stay inside of my entry or stay within it. But I mean, I pay my stop loss to do its job. It's there for a particular reason. I mean, the idea is still valid, so I'm not going to can the idea just because its price is taking a while. It may just take a minute to get into it. So I can't pick and choose that. I don't have power or control over it. So I just have to submit to it. If you feel yourself trying to, exit a trade early or whatever, I mean, just walk away from the charts. I mean, just get up from the computer, move. Your stop loss is there. You pay it to sit there and protect you. I mean, if you're not comfortable with the risk, obviously you're over leveraging. You're doing too much. Like, I'm comfortable with the risk. If I lose this money, it's not going to hurt me. It's not going to end my career. The idea is still valid to me, so I have to sit through it. It's uncomfortable. It's not fun, but it's part of the process. It's not all sunshine and rainbows when I get into position. It just immediately goes to my take profit. I mean, sometimes I got to sit through. If I had to sit through this and it ended up stopping me out, I mean, yeah, that's not ideal. I wouldn't love that, but I mean, what choice do I have? There's a lot of times where I had the idea correct, I exit out early, and it goes right to my take profit. It's like, well, why didn't I just wait? Because of fear. And again, I'm just scanning through the time frames I'm looking at, going, what is price doing? What did it close like? We just opened up a 1 hour candle, so you have to think in power of three of all these new candles that are fresh. So digged into that 5 minute. I really want to see it expand lower now into the sell side. My stop loss is above this second candle here. Just a snooze fest, like watching paint dry. I mean, that first minute in here, 2 minutes, delivered 25 handles, which was nice. I mean, if I could have took out the sell side, I would have been out half of the position, but that is what it is. I'm going to give this thing about 7 more minutes. And if it doesn't move into it, I'll can the idea. What up, Wazy, my brother? Sorry, I'm super focused right now. I'm feeling good today. As usual, blessed, happy, grateful. Hope you're doing well. Hope Carl isn't giving you too much at work today. Watching paint dry is better than a construction job? Yeah, most definitely. So, I mean, could I make an argument to go higher here? I mean, would I want to be longing here? Would I want to be a buyer? No. But I have to keep an open mind that anything's possible. Could just sprint off and take out my stop loss. So, if you have a mindset of like this can never happen to me, and then it does, it's going to catch you so off guard. You're going to be so upset. I'm fully prepared to take a loss. I'm fully prepared to do so, and that eliminates the fear that I have because I'm not fearful of being wrong. I'm not fearful of taking a loss. If I have zero doubt in my mind that I'm not going to take the loss, and I end up taking a loss, it's going to be like, well, what the hell? I get blindsided. But I'm already prepared to take a loss. I'm already prepared for that. So you have to submit to that idea. It takes submission. And this fair value gap needs to hold. It needs to support price in order to go lower. Like in here, from this point, I don't want to see it move past CE. That's just personally what I'm looking at. As I say that, it goes right above it. So I'm probably going to get stopped out. And I submitted to this idea, and that's all you could ask for. It was a 16 handle loss. Obviously, I'm not happy about it, so I just got stopped out. I mean, what can you do? I'm not going to sit here and try to get back into the market. It is what it is. I mean, for those who take out at 20, 25 handles or whatever, I mean, that still provided enough. I just wanted at least into the sell side. I mean, to me, from here, I don't see anything. There's no reason that price should be gravitating higher from here. It should at least taken out the sell side. So, I mean, what can I do? It may bleed to my stop loss and sell off. I mean, again, if I place a stop loss, it's there for a particular reason, and if it took out my stop loss, then goes to my take profit. I don't feel a particular way about it. I did everything I possibly could have. As you as the analyst, that's all you can do. I mean, where else would you place your stop loss? I'm not going to place it at the high up there. I'm opening myself up to way too much risk. Where the bullishness come from? I mean, again, this is sloppy conditions. This is not easy. It's just range. I mean, look at the entire AM session. Is this something that's really that easy? No. Only thing I would do today is if this sell side was still left in here by the time I come to PM, then I would have to see where price is at. But, I mean, I did all I could do. So, I mean, that's really going to be it. I'm not going to extend the live stream further out than what it needs to be. I mean, if it's trades right in the sell side, I mean, that's it. What can you do? I'll look at the last few questions in here, and then I'll probably hop off. TC, awesome. Not that's hilarious. Later, Harris. I'll see you later. Actually, no, you won't. John. Yeah, but again, I was going with the idea of if we're engineering liquidity sell side and price may retrace back into the daily range, we've been expanding higher, I can go against the overall narrative. We've taken out buy side. So you can see in here, I mean, If it ends up trading the sell side, you at least saw that, the idea worked. Yeah, most definitely. I was aware of that, Wazy. I mean, all right. I mean, that's gonna be it for me. Appreciate all of you. Until tomorrow. Good luck and good trading, everybody.